Hi all, my name is Yemi Penn and I'm going to be sharing parts of my story based on who I am today and who I was as a young girl and teenager at 16 years old. You might see me look down at my laptop every now and again because I just want to make sure that I answer all these questions. So what was I like as a teen in high school? What did I want to achieve and my hopes and dreams? The truth of the matter is, in high school, which I went across to because I started high school in Nigeria and then I moved to London, to be honest, survival was the name of the game. Things were very different then, didn't have the kind of technology we have now, but I was trying to stay relevant. In hindsight, that was probably wasted energy, but I appreciate why that is the way it is, because there are some things that we miss, which is really listening to that inner voice, our higher self of what we want. If I was to go back and try to recall what I wanted to be successful, but just hadn't defined what success looked like, because I was still searching for people who had grown up in similar environments to me, who were a kind of success that I wanted. But deep down, I wanted that. I wanted to do well in my studies. My teachers were great, both in Nigeria and in the UK, who really made it clear to me that the decisions and the things I did at age 13, 14, and especially 16 became really important on what I could be later on in life. I don't think that became really clear to me until after, which is why there are some parts of my educational, background where I've actually taken a step back to take 10 steps forward. Okay, so the work I do now, I do a number of things. So I'm an engineer by profession. I studied mechanical engineering at university in the UK. I'm an entrepreneur by passion. So I have a few businesses, I think 4, probably going on to 5. I've got a gym in the UK, just recently opened a cafe in Sydney, Australia. I also run my engineering consultancy where myself and a small team typically manage projects for the government and some private clients. And my 4th business is my coaching transformation. And so I am passionate about doing whatever sets my soul on fire. And I'm a mindset transformation coach by mission, meaning that this is the work I want to do that allows me to guide others to figure out the untapped potential in them. You've probably heard some birds out there. I'm currently in Byron Bay and I figured I would record this outside, so hopefully you can still hear me. Okay. Highlights of my story to get where I am today, the highs, lows, and the lessons learned. Oh boy. The lessons we learn in life are plenty, but I think most of us are so distracted by saying how unfair life is that we forget they are literally just that, lessons. I read a lot of books now, and I read some back in the day when I was a teenager, and then when I definitely went to university and I was early on in my career. And I remember reading Richard Branson's, one of his books, and he shares how he was dyslexic, or what they call dyslexic, but completely had a different way of thinking, and that really worked for him. But there's one thing he said, or his mum said, that I loved, which is that you are guaranteed to miss the shot you do not take. And so my biggest lesson in life so far, especially as an adult with kids, is that I need to at least try something before I either give up on it or say I'm not good at it. And when I mean try, I mean find people who are better at it than me and give me the guidance. So most of my lows have actually been my biggest learning curves, and whether that's losing anything from $50,000 to $150,000 in an investment that went wrong, whether that was working for the wrong company, because in working for the company that wasn't right for me, it allowed me to set up my own consultancy, something that I probably wouldn't have done. So I think my biggest lesson is to actually give things a try and to dream big. I mean, you've got to be unreasonable in order to sometimes achieve the things that aren't classified as the norm. I could go on this all day, but that would be some of my biggest lessons learned. What advice I would give to my 16-year-old self? Just be cool. Just be. I think we are so busy we are so busy trying to be at the front and stay relevant, what I would have told myself back then was to also follow my gut, follow my heart. I think sometimes we are disempowered by other people having opinions on what they think we should do. I think at 16 you really start to center yourself. The truth of the matter is we know exactly what we want to do and where we want to go up until the age of about 8. But society tends to say, well, this is what you should do as a girl, this is what you should do as a boy, and we start to believe that. I tell my 16-year-old self to go back to center and figure out what feels good, and then figure out how I could have got paid doing what made me feel good. Well, that's controversial, but I think you can hang with that. Okay, what else have we got here? What be the difference means to me personally. What be the difference means to me is literally celebrating my differences. I am loathed that society constantly sometimes thrives on our differences and uses it as a way to separate us, even within ourselves. We can separate within ourselves before we separate within a society. And for me to be the difference is to actually hone in on the things that society has said makes me different, and therefore, I don't fit in. I use that to celebrate. If you are watching this and there is something different about you, whether it's physical, mental, that is your superpower. So for me, being the difference is highlighting the one thing that makes me special. I do it with humility, but I do it with pride. That for me is how I am and continue to be the difference. Thank you.